Why are powerlifters so sad? Just was listening to some videos today, watching some on YouTube as I usually do, and I was re-watching Izzy, Powerlifting to Win, one of my favorite channels. Puts out amazing content, and I'm sure if you love powerlifting, you're probably a subscriber to his channel as well. He puts out some great stuff. He put up his latest video he posted of his results about how disappointed he was. He was actually quite depressed and very sad. And I'm like reading through the comments, and Candido put this comment saying, "We both won nationals and we both had the worst meets of our lives. This means something. We were meant to be together." Anyways, just he talks some little joke. It's pretty funny, but. And then Izzy responds by saying, "It's different because you won the real nationals. Seriously." And you know, and then I read this other comment saying, what the heck did it say? It said something Galvin, someone that did really well in the 220 weight class, and he felt really sad about himself also. So I'm just thinking to myself, why are freaking powerlifters so freaking sad over there? Oh, there you go, dude. Check out Gareth Blevins. He recently competed in the 220 weight class in Raw Nationals and dealt with disappointment himself. You guys should talk. What's up? You do know I'm making a video, right?
No.
So you have to wait then. So close the door. That was my son interrupting my video making. So I want to finish this video before I get back to him. Oh, what was I going to say? That's right. So why are powerlifters so sad? So you got Gareth Blevins. You know, I don't know who that is. Probably, obviously, he competed at nationals. He's very strong. My thoughts are, it's kind of interesting because, you know, I've been watching videos on YouTube for a while and kind of getting more into more powerlifting, actually introduced by Mark Bell, watching his videos and talking about powerlifting. Never really an interest of mine, but his stuff was entertaining and it was about strength, and I don't know, I found that interesting. And he would talk about how upset he was, or pissed off he was when he missed a lift or when things don't feel right. And, you know, in my small world, before I got really into the whole interested in powerlifting itself, I went to Mark Bell's seminar and I would talk to him about the deadlift, and I could just, as I talked to him about the deadlift, about finding that right groove and getting the most out of the weight when you're trying to deadlift, he was sort of, he seemed kind of frustrated about it too. I watched him lift a little bit before the seminar, and it seems like he gets irritated. And it's funny how there's this continuous stream of people who compete at a high level, like Mark Bell used to compete, geared lifting, equipped lifting, and you got Izzy and, you know, Johnny Candido. And why are they so sad? Why are they so depressed about what they're doing? You know, I think it's appealing. I think one of the main things, just my philosophy at least, or my theory anyway, is that if you're harder on yourself and you show that you're hard on yourself, it kind of makes it so that people can't be hard on you. It's sort of almost like a defense mechanism, which can be true to some people and might not be true to others, but it could be subconscious thoughts. Another thing too is possible is that a lot of people really are hard on themselves, and for whatever reason we find a way to get negative energy, negative feedback to drive ourselves. Think about cancer survivors, think about people who've gone through traumatic experience in life and they have some very life-altering circumstance, right? Like almost dying, cancer. Lance Armstrong comes to mind, reading his book about kind of how he used to take his athletic abilities for granted. Of course, he did drugs, but that's a different topic. But he would take it for granted, and once he fought cancer off and was able to survive and then win all the tours, Tour de France, he was kind of reborn from that kind of battle of almost dying. And you see many stories of these, of people who are coming from the bottom and then kind of coming back up top or kind of conquering themselves. And I think in powerlifting or Olympic weightlifting or any type of strength sport, you want to get mad, because I think that's kind of where a lot of us find our energy. We find it in a negative way. And I think about the polar opposite of what I thought about in another video. Someone made this really great comment in one of my videos. He said, before he makes a lift, he thinks about all the great things in his life. And I forgot who that is. If you happen to be watching this video, please comment. it was kind of an interesting way. It's like a complete opposite, because usually I turn my music up loud, I freaking like stomp the ground, I yell or whatever, or I slap my face. Actually, I've slapped my face once maybe before lifting, or hit my head against the barbell, and then just get fired up to lift, right? And sweating here. I'm just thinking, like, why is it that these guys are so sad? They're lifting at the highest level, or a very high level. Not even at the highest level, at the high level. And for me, I'm just thinking, I don't really ever plan to lift at a high level. And, I plan to get really, really strong. Maybe I will lift at a high level, but that's not why I do powerlifting. I'm sort of on the kind of the edge of Ben Rice, sort of, at least with that sort of philosophy. And that's why I kind of take away from each of these people, because they inspire me. They're very strong. I love their talk. I like their philosophy. I love their passion. And for me, it's like I had this knee problem like a few months ago. Pretty bad one, and it made me think that there's a possibility that I may never squat again. I may never be able to hit that squat goal I wanted. And I felt really sad. I felt really pissed off and upset, right? This is the story I tell to myself. And then I think for a second of a guy who doesn't have any arms or legs and has just basically a little flipper. And I just think to myself, I can walk, I can squat. I can still squat 300. At the time, I could still squat like almost 300 pounds. It wasn't like, I couldn't walk. So I'm just thinking to myself, why am I so sad? I have so many things that are great in my life. Why am I going to be this self-deprecating, sad pussy that is being a bitch? Now, am I suggesting that these people are being bitches? No. But maybe you can take that viewpoint if you like, but I don't feel that way of these people, because I look up to them, they inspire me. But my point of saying this is a lot of this video is inspired by a Elliot Hulse video. He was talking about, if you guys follow Elliot Hulse, I know some of you guys think he's hella weird, but he's got the good stuff. He's actually one of the reasons why I actually make videos in the first place. He's allowed me to kind of motivate me to actually put myself out there. And he says, it's a story you tell yourself. He said in actually video he posted today, Wednesday, 7/30/2014. It's a story, and you got to sometimes sell yourself bullshit. Now, you could believe this or not, but the truth is, Izzy is great. I'm gonna tell you right now, Izzy is phenomenal, and what makes him so phenomenal is that guy works hard. I mean, he said in his video, like, he moved to, I think, Las Vegas, and he quit everything he was doing to make a website, make a channel, and look at him. He's freaking 10,000 subscribers really, really quickly. Has really great content. And even before he had that many subscribers, I remember seeing one of his videos, like 30 minutes long. He put so much time in his videos, so much time in his effort in his videos. It's just like amazing. And I just like think to myself, I want to grow my channel, but I'm not even working as hard as him. He put out an ebook when I was on vacation with my family. With my wife, we went to Reno. I'm just thinking to myself, dude, this guy's busting his ass. This guy has taken the time to really push not just his strength life of lifting weights, but also his ability to put content out, make good videos, make good quality content, and really give to the community and really essentially help people. And I just think to myself, why are you being so hard to yourself? And again, it's a lot of the time why Candido, even when he was kind of upset with the way he did in his performance, and I think some of us are just like, what the heck are you talking about? And you know what's so funny? It's really the reference point, because I remember even when I'm not really lean, I'm not ripped by any means, but I remember before I was even as I am now, I was fatter, I guess you can say, and I was unhappy with how I looked, right? But I would tell people I'm trying to lose weight, and the clients that I'm training would think I'm crazy. Well, you don't need to lose weight. You don't need to lose weight. And why is that? Because that other person is really obese or ridiculously fat or really out of shape or whatever you want to call it. And it's kind of interesting because it's this whole role reversal. It's like, not role reversal. It's a reference point. The reference point of people, because you got someone who's 300 pounds, maybe 5'8", can't go up the stairs, out of shape, and they're looking at me, why do you need to lose weight? And the same thing with me. At one point I wanted to get into bodybuilding, physique competing, and really look good and get ripped, and I just could never do it, never could get into it, And I just think I see these guys that are ripped six packs, and I just think to myself, wow, I want to do that. I want to look like that. But then I have some opinions about that have changed quite a bit. But the other thing too is that you look at these, Candido and Izzy, and they're freaking strong, dude. a 450 squat. I mean, that just for the body weight of Izzy, at Izzy, I can even squat 450. You know, I mean, and I'm 100. I compete at 198. I'm a 200-pound person. I just think to myself, you know, or the way I kind of position stuff in my head is like, this is the viewpoint that they have. This is the viewpoint they have because they're so hard. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know where I want to go with this. It's just that why do I want to just suppose this idea is that so many people put themselves in such negative situations or negative thinking that it's the way to kind of boost them forward. And I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that short term. But long term, it's bad because you burn out. You get tired of the sport, you get hurt, and I think that you don't really have a good long-term view. On the flip side, here's the kind of the devil's advocate to not having a long-term view and making a really strong strength progression and not getting the results you want is that you end up not being liked or not being interesting. Like a lot of reasons why you like Johnny Candido, Izzy, why you like all these lifters you see, even Mark Bell, if you follow Mark Bell, or Pete Rubish is an example. These guys are fucking intense, and there's something about that intensity that just kind of motivates you, that really kind of inspires you. And I don't know. I would want them to change this philosophy, but this is kind of like me looking at them and seeing pieces I want. Of course, I think in truth you don't want everything of a person, right? There might be some ideas and thoughts and things you want from me or of me, similar to me, not exactly like me, similar to Johnny Candido, to Izzy, to Ben Rice, to all these powerlifters, Mark Bell. You don't want everything though, right? You just want the good stuff. No one wants all their fucking baggage, right? And a lot of the time we just torture ourselves. You look at Ben Rice. I'll just talk about Ben Rice for a second because he's a very big inspiration to me. Is that when he makes his videos, he has great philosophy, but he has this very kind of sad, self-deprecating way of kind of talking, and it's you hear the low energy in his voice. Though he's not a low energy guy, it's just his style. It's his monotone. You know, it's just he's not monotone, but it's just kind of how he is. And for me, I have the same thing. I'm sort of monotone. I'm sort of like a depressed sort of person. I mean, and again, you can read into this as much as you want. Like Elliot Hulse is fucking crazy if you want to think about it like that. But for me, for example, I'm just sort of like in the Ben Rice area where I'm like kind of like tend to be low monotone, just kind of like sort of sad, or sound sad at least sometimes. And then you got someone like Izzy who's just super passionate, or you have someone who's who else is there? I mean, just some thoughts. They're just very passionate about what they do. I don't know where I was going with this. I just think that there's no reason to be sad. You can walk. You have another day in life, and you're upset with yourself because you just haven't accomplished the targets you've hit. And so I think sometimes people put this target, I need to be a millionaire or billionaire, I need to be squatting this amount of weight, and if you don't hit that number, you're gonna lose, you know. And I don't think that's an accurate picture. It's kind of like weight loss. If I don't lose 10 pounds but I lose 7 pounds, I've lost, I've failed. If I get if I drop 8 inches on my waist but don't get that six-pack within this time frame, I've lost. You know, if I get to 9% body fat on calipers, but my abs don't show like I think they should, I've lost. And it's this black and white that, you know, it's a constant theme in a lot of our lives and a lot of our philosophies. We just keep thinking, oh, it's black and white, yes and no. And there's just so much gray, like in form and technique. Oh, that person doesn't squat low enough. Or that person doesn't do well enough. Or that person's too fat. And my point of saying all this stuff is that there's just so much ways you can view all this stuff. And a lot of this comes from, you know, I just kind of thinking off the top of my head watching that movie Lucy, is that are human beings more focused on having than being, you know? Because we're so focused on having stuff, being able to accomplish stuff and have more stuff. But we're not focused on just being, you know? Because, I don't know, I'll just tell you, like, I've been, every morning these past days, I work like really odd hours, and it's hard for me to get home. And one of the things I wish I could do in the middle of the day is work out with my son. And the hardest thing I've been having is, you know, being able to do that. You know, it's getting darker now. It's not quite, you know, it's the ending of summer, back half of summer. And I'm just thinking to myself, man, I need to get my son in shape. He needs to start working out. He's going to be in the second grade. So I wake up in the morning early just to take him through workouts. And we go walk and run around the neighborhood, run a mile. And we do some PVC pipe Olympic lifting, you know. And I just think to myself, you know, I could be making a video, or before doing that with my son, I was thinking I could be making a video, or I could be calling clients, I could be writing a blog post, you know. And I'm just thinking, I wouldn't want to do anything else. You know? I think there's people in our life and there's circumstances in our life that have lots of value. And for me, don't get me wrong, my training session is probably one of the most valuable things in my life. When I squat, when I bench, when I deadlift, even though I don't always want to get into it, it is a big part of my life. And I get so wrapped up in being able to get that high from it, to crush the weights, to overcome that fear. Like Ben Rice says, to make himself stronger in his mind for him to be a better person. And that's kind of what I do for weights, and it's sort of what it's been for me. It's not really to break any records. And I think in the process of, and almost to some extent, this is why people end up being, like look at Steve Jobs. I read his biography and talks about he wants to, what does he want to do? And in his book, he says all he wanted to do was make a good product, and that's all he wanted to do. He thought about the end user. He was obsessed with it. It was the most important thing to him when he was at Apple, when he was alive. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to make cool shit. It was his thing. And he was very passionate about it. And I don't even know where I was going with that because I fucking lost my train of thought. Let's see if I can find it. He said, train of thought. He was focused on, being, he wasn't so much that he was making the product to be great, or maybe he was, who knows, but I just think in my head, the way I view it is, my opinion anyway, take it for what it is, he was making a product for another person, for a group of people who love products. He's basically making a product for himself. He was focused on being, he wasn't focused on having something, of having, trying to be great or try to be amazing. He was just trying to do awesome stuff. And I think one of the reasons why we again beat ourselves up is because we don't live up to that expectation we set of ourselves of hitting numbers and powerlifting. Like I was just using Izzy and Johnny Candido's examples, but I really don't know where I was going with this. I hope you got some good stuff. I just can't get all my thoughts together. I'm sweating. It's hot. 17-minute video. Although this video is rough and kind of choppy and whatnot, but these turn out to be one of my better videos, or at least if I can get some sort of response from people, even a thumbs down. I'm starting to, for me, another little quick honest truth, if you're actually this far in this video, is that thumbs down, I dread. It's like a stab to my heart, or it used to be at least. Now it's more like sticking a needle in my ear, I guess. I don't know, using that as a bad example, but my point is I use that. But the thumbs down means there's a reaction. And I think that's really more what I should be trying to do when I make videos, is actually make people think about how they view working out and lifting. And, I'll have these random videos, but I don't expect everyone to watch it. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.